What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Combat Lounge. I am your host, Phil Robinson. With me are my guys. We got Two Title Tony and we got Cade. And today we got a special guest for you. We have Brady Bam Bam Hiestand. So without further ado, let's start the show.
This is
of the style of the opponent or whatever.
See how they learned that push on the chin of the challenger. Combination, throw and Brady on the KO! Knockout!
It's time. So without further ado, the man of the hour, our guy, Bam Bam. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up? What's up? How's it going, guys?
Great,
going good,
great.
man.
oh man, another one like the man.
There we go. There we go.
So Brady, I gotta ask you, how did you get into MMA?
So I guess I started MMA because I was kind of a troublemaker in middle school, and so I was getting in fights, and in my town there wasn't any fights going on, so I was like having the only fights in middle school. So my parents were, a little bit worried about me, so I was always hella competitive, and I did karate when I was little, so they thought maybe I should get into martial arts, so they put me in boxing when I was in the 8th grade. And ever since then, I did a little bit of wrestling, and then when I turned 13, I started jiu-jitsu, and then it just took off from there. Once I hit jiu-jitsu, then it was just an everyday thing, and then I started fighting. Had my first cage fight when I was 16, and it's just been nonstop since then.
Nice. What was the hardest part about getting into it? Was it just like the first practice and then everything from there went up, or?
I think I always wanted to, because when I was younger, I got bullied a lot. I was always the smaller kid. I was smaller, but I was still I was out of shape, and I was really chunky. I have really curly hair, so my hair was long. I had an afro, and I had glasses, and so I got picked on a lot. And so I always wanted to get into boxing, because I was like, I want to beat these guys up that are, I wanted to be able to, get some confidence and be able to defend myself against these guys that were, kind of making fun of me and all this stuff. And I wanted to get in better shape. I looked up at all these fighters, and I was like, dude, I want to be like that. And so once my parents finally gave me the chance, that's when I got signed up in it. But
Nice.
I guess so I wasn't super nervous. I was more excited. It was more after the first practice when I was so tired I couldn't move that I rethought it. But, I just kept going, and it got easier and easier.
So here's the important question off of that. So how long did it take before you started whooping those bullies' asses?
Dude, it's the craziest thing. So, you think that you get into something like that, and then you're going to go and beat them up one day. But the thing is that you get so much confidence, and then your body changes, you start getting in better shape, and then people stop picking on you. So it's so dumb. It's like, people stop picking on you because now they know that, oh, you know how to fight. So the bullies that don't are like, I'm going to stay away from that dude. So I never actually got in too many fights after that. The only fights I got in after I started training were in the cage.
Right.
Yeah.
After that, everybody started bitching up.
Exactly.
So you've had this desire, and so that was the first step of your journey. But when did it all come together? When it clicked, where you were like, you know what, this. Not only did I want to do this, but this is me. Because I know, I also train jiu-jitsu too, and there's you have your interests, and then there's a moment where it clicks, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, like this is not only something I like, but this is actually something for me, or something meant for me. What was that moment for you?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that question, but I guess I think probably when I started doing jiu-jitsu, because I love jiu-jitsu. You know, it's like it's a different sport. I think once I started doing that, maybe a few weeks in, and it just felt like that was like what I was supposed to be doing. I would go in and grapple, and I wasn't the best in school. I was a really quiet kid, but when you do jiu-jitsu, you don't have to talk. You don't have to you don't have to interact. You don't have to do schoolwork. It's all like present moment, and you're just grappling whoever you're grappling. And so being in that moment was when I was the most happy at that point in my life. Whenever I would go to the mats and I would just roll, that was when I felt the most at peace. So I think probably like when I was like 13, 14, when I started jiu-jitsu is when I was like, this is it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's the injury coming along? I know that you spent quite a bit of time on that injury. I'm pretty sure you were hurt the entire Tough 29 series, if I'm not mistaken, and then you went into the finale, right? You were still dealing with that?
Yeah, so I had a ACL surgery and meniscus surgery. So I had a completely torn ACL and a partially torn meniscus. So I had the surgery about 10 and a half months ago. But yeah, it's going great. I feel good. I've been working with the PI a lot. So they've been helping me, getting me on a good training regimen, getting my legs strong again. But yeah, back to the show. So the first week I was on the show, because I didn't fight the first week. Me and Josh fought later. And so I was training and I was rolling with one of Volk's guys. He was actually a 21-year-old 135-pounder. His name was Colby Thickness. And we were rolling and
At 135 pounds, his name was Thickness. That's funny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That was just funny.
I know, it's funny. We called him Coach Thickness. It was funny. No, he was a cool dude though. But we were just rolling and he went to deep half guard and he went to sweep me over. My foot was planted on the ground, and so when I rolled, my foot didn't move, and so it popped my ACL right there. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was. I knew something happened. I've never had an injury before, or especially not a knee injury. So at the moment, I was like, "This is weird," and my leg swelled up really big, and I was like, "Okay, this is kind of interesting." And so I trained, and so I fought Josh on it, and it actually buckled a couple times in the fight. And so that's why I didn't throw any kicks my last few fights. But after that, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I wonder if it's meniscus. I'm not really sure. I didn't want to tell production because I was afraid of getting kicked off. Because if I go back to my right before I went in the house, I watched Juliana Pena, my teammate's season, and on her season, a guy tore his hamstring and they kicked him off the show. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to be kicked off the show in case I tore something. So I just kept it to myself. I told like Craig Jones and Volk and them, but I was like, don't tell production because I wasn't sure. But yeah, I dealt with it and I came home and I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. It would buckle a few times in practice and whatever. But I was like, I got to get to the finale. I got to win this fight, get in the UFC, and then I'll deal with it. And but yeah, I was actually surprised. My coach wasn't surprised. My coach Rick was like, dude, your knee's after the fight, because he never told me in camp because he didn't want me to worry. But he's like, after the fight, he's like, you got to tell them because your knee's fucked up. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I've never because Juliana Pena has actually torn her whole knee in. And he's like, yeah, I've seen fucked up knees before. And I'm like, you need to tell UFC so they can pay for it and go get that fixed. And I was like, oh, okay. And then once we got the MRIs back, it was partially torn meniscus and then completely torn ACL. It wasn't even there.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it worked out, right? I got a UFC contract. It was a good fight with Ricky. Luckily we put on fight of the night. I want to get that back for sure. Obviously I have all the respect for Ricky. But I don't like living off the loss, so I'm sure ready to get back in there and prove why I'm the best.
You just answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you, I thought maybe in that fight, you won rounds 1 and 2 and he took 3. But when you leave it to the judges, you just never know what's going to happen. I was going to ask you, is that something that you're looking forward to getting back, or are you just moving forward and playing the cards however they fall?
At this point, I agree with you. I feel like a lot of people have told me that, I've talked to people, I've even seen, fighters like DC and stuff tweet. It's like, I feel like I won round 1 and 2, and then he got the knockdown in round 3. So he give it to 3 to Ricky. But it's like, it's one of those things. I shouldn't even give him any round. I should have finished him. I shouldn't have let it go to the judges' scorecard. So it's one of those things I have to realize, and I have to be like, I have to go put on such dominant performances like Volk did to Holloway, to where people can't question it, and not even the judges can make a mistake like that. That being said, anyone can get it. I don't care. I would rematch Ricky for sure. He's my homie too, so it's like, it's kind of a weird thing, because like I just saw him at Juliana Pena's last to fight with Amanda, and we were cooling and we were talking and stuff. But that's the sport, right? You're friends with, you're cool with a lot of people, but someday you might fight him again, or you might fight him in the first place. So yeah, I'm down. I would be down to get that rematch for sure, especially because how close it was, and it was such a barn burner. I think a rematch would.
It was a war.
Yeah,
and listening to that, it's like I'm sitting here as my competitive spirit. I would be burning to rematch that man, to know that I went in and basically fought that guy to an absolute standstill, extra rounds on one leg.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like, I'm excited to get back to this fight game, because I'm gonna show people how good I actually am fighting with 2 good legs,
right?
And I'm gonna be the most ready I've ever been. I've had a little bit of time off, so all my injuries are healed up, and so yeah, I think everyone's gonna be surprised at what performance I put on next fight.
I like to throw some more gas on this fire too, because how like. I know for me, like when I'm getting ready to go compete or whatnot, and if you feel like you go to the gym and you still feel like it's not enough. Like you're at home and you're thinking, oh, I think this guy, I think my opponent, he's doing something right now. Like he's getting a one up on him. So you start doing stuff at home, push-ups or whatever. So you're sitting at home. You're sitting at home and you're watching the landscape, watching competition. You're just like, man, like you kind of feel like, man, I don't want to get behind this 8 ball. These guys are they're getting ready, and I'm just sitting here like, man, I feel like I need to do something. Like how much of that is going into the motivation factor now that you're seeing guys they're participating, competing and things like that. And you're sitting on the sideline and you're just like, yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait to get back in there.
Oh, that's it. Especially because I have a good gauge on like when everyone, like a lot of people have fought. Like I compare it, like I watch, all the guys from my season, and all these guys have fought so many times. Like Brian Battle's on fight number like 4 or something like that since the show. Same with Dan Argueta. He just got in the UFC. Mitch Raposo, he got out, got Contender Series fight, had another fight. Now he's having another fight. And like I see all these guys just rattling off fights, and I'm like, dude, this could have been me. I could have got off the Ultimate Fighter, and I could add like 4 or 5 fights right now, because I'm active too. I don't need anything. This is my main thing. This is what I focus on. This is what I think about day and night. So I don't need a big break in between fights. I can go fight 2 months later, heal up a little bit, go fight again. I could be fighting it consistently, and
you're like watching and you're like twitching, doing this, doing that type of thing.
Me out there right now.
Throwing the paints, it's like, hold on.
You ever? Hey, is it just me? But you ever like after training and everything like that, and you finally are laying down relaxing, but you're going over these transition sequences and things that things that you got probably caught in rolling or whatever, and you're just like kind of going over these sequences like in your head, kind of like you're like what kind of movie can I think of? Well, anyway, you're just really just going through all these sequences in your head. You're just kind of like, it's even hard to relax even when you're supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I also I have videotape a lot of the times I hit mitts and train, and so I'll like go back and actually watch what I did, and so then I go through it and kind of and so, but yeah, like if I don't do that, of course, especially if I get a really sick sweep, or I get I land a good combination, I remember that. Or if I fuck up something and I'm like, why the fuck did I fuck up? Or I get hit and I'm like, why the fuck did I get hit there? And it just replays in my head. And so then I kind of go through and kind of rewrite it and try to figure out why and how and all that stuff. Because like I said, this is what I think about all the time. And so it's like I'm obsessed for sure.
Right, we got a question from our audience, Brady. So, my guy Jonathan Taylor wants to know, what is your cheat meal post training, and how much do you like to hydrate after weigh-ins?
Okay. Post training cheat meal or like post weight cut? I'm gonna do post weight cut. If I'm gonna eat, what my favorite meal after I've like been cutting weight for a while is fried chicken. I fucking love fried chicken. I don't even know why. It's my favorite food by far. Some fried chicken, some ranch. Oh, that's my best. That's my favorite.
So from where? So whose fried chicken you eating?
Well, actually, it's not up here in Washington, Spokane, but my favorite place I've been to is Raising Cane's.
Okay, there's the plug right there.
The cane
Yeah,
sauce.
we have that out here.
Yeah, so whenever I go to Vegas, I always get it after my fight.
So then what about the hydrating after the weight cut? How much do you hydrate?
So it's actually in the UFC, so they actually do hydration drinks. So right after you weigh in, you hydrate. But I'm probably drinking like at least 1.5 gallons of fluids before the fight, maybe 2 gallons.
Wow.
Yeah, just like through it, because it's a 36-hour gap. So you weigh in the morning of the day before the fight, and so yeah, I'm probably drinking like close to 2 gallons.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's doable in that time. Actually, I thought it was. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it is about 36 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you're cutting so much. Like, you're almost cutting. If not, I might be drinking more. Honestly, maybe almost close to 3. Because if you think about it, I'm cutting like
a gallon a day in 36 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'd be 1.5 gallons a day. So that's not crazy.
No, not too bad. Especially when you're dehydrated, your body's just sucking it up.
Right.
And it's not just water. It's a lot of different stuff. Like I'll drink a lot of Pedialyte, some coconut water, a lot of different stuff.
Other stuff to replace your fluids. I actually have a question for you. So I know you just came off helping Team Pena. You were coaching over there for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Last season. How was that experience like, being around all the people that were just in your position, and being able to help them out?
Yeah, so it's way less stressful on the other side, but it was cool. I liked it. It was cool it was cool being on back-to-back seasons too. The fact that I could like be on one and the next season I was helping out my team with the next. But it was kind of interesting because I could like relate to these guys. They're in the situation, they're isolated. They don't have their phones. They don't have any contact with the outside world. They don't even have music, TV, anything, books. And so you go a little bit crazy while you're in there. And so it was kind of crazy to see the other side of it and kind of see what they were going through and how they reacted to it. But yeah, it was super cool. I loved it. It was a great experience.
I thought the craziest thing to me about the Ultimate Fighter every time they do it is who's the first pick that the coaches take, who they think is the man or the woman, and who actually is. And I think like another example this season, for instance, of who proved that was Killer Miller. Like,
yeah,
that girl is a dog. Like, she just wanted it better than anyone else.
Yeah, she is a dog for sure. She has no quit in her either.
None.
And I still talk to her sometimes, but she's like she got a really good positive attitude, and she's a grinder. She's one of those girls that will not get tired in there and will just keep coming forward. It's pretty crazy to see a girl that tough,
So how crazy does your cardio have to be in order to be one of those fighters where you just keep coming forward and you don't stop? Because a lot of to the untrained person, you think, oh, are you running 5 miles, 10 miles? How what is that like? Because they don't account for the adrenaline dump that happens early on in the fight as well.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of things, You gotta run. You gotta make sure you're in shape. You also got to train a lot because you got to have your body. The adrenaline dump you're talking about is like, those are a lot of nerves. But the more you train, you're specific, like, because she's a grappler, so she grapples all the time. So when she grapples, you grapple so much. You guys know, some of you guys train, you like get used to that grappling kind of workout. And so it doesn't become as like tiring. And so the fact that you're training all the time, one, like calms your mind, but two, makes it like you're not stressing so much. You're not getting so tired doing the work. But that just comes from putting hours and hours in the gym and just, making sure you're confident, so working your game plan, and then just training the techniques that you're using.
Yeah, I have another.
You kind of get. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say you kind of get your body. You get your body prepared for your game plan.
Exactly.
And then everything else kind of comes together because you find your spots where you are getting your breath. You kind of have this whole thing rehearsed to the point, and then your body is just really conditioned for those type of movements. I'm gonna let Kay go because my question is kind of like a more towards the end question, so I'll let Kay go.
No, I was just gonna ask. I feel like you guys don't get asked this question a lot, but closer to fight week, is it? I heard it is better to train closer to the time you're gonna fight. Is that true? Do you guys like to maybe a week or two before the fight start training closer to the time that you you think you're gonna fight around? Whether that's 7 o'clock or some of these fight nights are on 12 o'clock these days, but just depending.
Yeah, definitely. I've been lucky for the fact that all my fights have been, around the same time that I usually train anyways, because I train every night at 7, Monday through Friday. And so, yeah, I've been pretty lucky, but I know if like we were going to go fight in a different country or a fight night was like you said, like late night, like at 12, we'd move our practices for sure. Cause you want to be accustomed to that. If I'm usually going to bed at 12, I don't want to, I don't want to fight at 12. I want to be, going to bed at like 3 and then training at 12 every day, just so I'm used to it. Okay. But yeah, that's a good question.
Right. So you're when you start thinking of your game plan, like what guard you're going to pull, what type of things you're going to pull, and then you start to work on it.
Say that one more time.
Oh, so I was saying, do you install the game plan that week of, or are you already kind of like starting to install it, and then you're gonna start to train on it?
It depends. As soon as I find the opponent, I kind of start gearing myself to the style of fight I'm gonna have. There's always like it's not too specific. It is pretty like you if you're fighting a boxer, you kind of have a style for that. If you have a grappler, you have a style for that. But there's so many things that could happen in a fight. So as soon as I figure out my opponent, I start training for that guy.
Is it so much that you make them go to you want to fight their style of fight, or do you try to make them fight your style of fight?
I think you always want to make them fight your fight. It depends on the guy. If I feel like I can beat him this place, maybe I'll go there. Or if I think I can beat him here, maybe I'll go. If I feel like I can grapple him, I'll grapple him. Or if I feel like I can outstrike him, I'll strike him. I think it's all depending on the guy. Going into like for instance that Josh fight, I had no idea. Because I had only, the last time I trained with him, I think I was like 17 or something like that, and so we had only grappled. So I didn't know how good his striking was, and I didn't know how we compared in the grappling, exchanges. So I was like, wow, we're just gonna go out there and we're gonna fight and see what happens. And then, but for the Vincent fight, I was like, this guy hits pretty hard. I know I can take him down and choke him out, or I can beat him up on the ground. So I was like, I'll stay on the feet, stay long, and then when I'm ready, take him down and beat him up.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you on 2 legs, man, because I'll tell you what, your wrestling is – you were coming forward and didn't stop coming forward in your fights on 1 leg. Now it's like, what are you going to be when you got 2 legs? And just like myself, you're young. You have such a bright future in this sport, man. It's just getting started. It hasn't even begun, really.
I can't
even wait.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny you say that because I never wrestled. It's just all MMA wrestling.
Right.
All jiu-jitsu. I credit it to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. That's
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, but you said you've been doing jiu-jitsu since you were 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got about 7 years worth of jiu-jitsu experience, 7+.
7+. I think 13. I just turned 23. Oh, actually, we got 10 years now.
Oh yeah, 10 years. Excuse me, my bad.
yeah.
What belt are you carrying for the jiu-jitsu?
So
If
I'm
you
a
don't mind
brown
my
belt,
asking.
1 stripe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I assume it's gonna be black. Yeah. Okay. So you were you a brown belt at the time of the injury?
Yeah. So because since the show, I've been working a lot on no gi and just stuff like that. I haven't put a lot of time in the gi, so I haven't been, advancing through those belts as much. But yeah, so I went into the show as a brown belt.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm no gi. I'm out of the 10th planet system.
Nice.
And when I was thinking how you said he was going for the deep pass, and you kind of got caught up there. And was it kind of frustrating that you just didn't go ahead and just go along with it and just reset or you tried to resist, kind of knowing the dangers of resisting it when you don't really sprawl if you haven't defended it well.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating for sure because I'm like, this has to happen right before, the biggest opportunity of my life. I didn't even get a chance to fight or anything, and I just hurt myself. So that was frustrating for sure. And we were just light grappling, and I feel like that's when it happens the most. It's not when you're like going full at it. It's when you're like flowing, and then something just happens and you get hurt. But yeah.
Okay. Now that makes sense. 'Cause I was trying to picture in my mind like I know he knows how to. I know he knows how to roll and flow and things like that. I'm like, how could that happen? Yeah, but okay, that makes sense now.
It's just something caught up. I think I don't even remember how, but my foot just got caught in the mat, and it just happened like that. Maybe my leg was a little bit like weak because I've been training so much, and maybe it was just needed that little bit of something to finally pop it. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I got one more question for you, and then I'll let them ask their last questions. You said that you're looking for a fight soon. How soon can we probably see you in there? And then do you have an opponent in mind, or is it just whoever they give you, you're ready to go?
I think at this level, it's whoever they give me. I'll take whatever. But I'm nothing set in stone yet. I haven't officially announced it, but we're looking for probably mid-November would be a good one.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got about
Madison Square
about
Garden?
3 months now. What?
Madison Square Garden?
Hey, that would be sick. I'm not sure about that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'm planning on being there. That's why I'm kind of like, oh, let's do it, man.
Hey, that's what's up. Come say what's up if I'm there.
Okay, for sure. You want me to go, Phil, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
So it's been a while. I've been in Spokane before, but this was long time ago. So for people that are unaware of Spokane and in that area of Washington, if I'm out there, me, Phil, and Kate are out there, for whatever reason, and we're looking for good places to eat, places to go, do's and don'ts, and things like that. Kind of tell us about Spokane a little bit.
So I guess Spokane, if you're gonna go train, I would go to Alpha, Post Falls. That's where you got to do jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to think. Oh, we got the cheesecake factory downtown. That's always fire. Go eat that.
Okay.
The coolest part about Spokane is we have so many places to hike around here. So get outside, get out in nature. A good place to go and hike would be Bowl and Pitcher. Bowl and Pitcher is really cool. You cross a river. There's a nice bridge. All that stuff. And then if you're gonna go to any food, downtown's where it's at. You gotta stick downtown. They got the best food down there.
Downtown.
Nice. So my question is: so we've sat here and we've talked. So out of this whole 30 minutes, what's the did we lose it? What's the question that we haven't asked that you wish we had?
Ooh, that's a good question. Bro, you've been asking some good questions. I don't know the answer to that. Dang. That's good. I don't have an answer to that.
All right. Well, I'll make it.
I was gonna say, sports fan. You got any teams? You got any favorites? You got are you, we're into pro wrestling as well. We're kind of multitasking with that too. Don't know if you're into that, but what are some of the other interests that like takes you away from
Brady the man has.
fighting?
Tell us something about Brady the man, not Brady the fighter.
Yeah, yeah.
Some like sports interests other than fighting.
Sports interests, or you might have some other interest. You might have a hobby. You might build ships and
Yeah,
bottles.
like
I don't
outside
know.
of fighting, what are you interested in?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Outside of fighting, I love being outdoors. Like I was saying, in Spokane's, we got the nature out here. I've been on a bunch of backpacking trips, so I like getting outside and being in nature and kind of disconnecting. I did like a 40-mile hike through Yellowstone. I've summited Mount St. Helens and like went to the summit of or base camp of Blue Glacier over on the west side of Washington. And so if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to get out, I'm going to shoot my bow, and I'm going to go hike through the woods.
Nice.
Gosh.
You do any
Washington's
fishing?
a great place for that.
Yeah, I love fishing. I grew up fishing. We actually have my grandpa, we nicknamed him Fishing Papa. And so we'd always go out fishing every summer with him.
My grandpa lived out there in Washington, and that's all he does, fish and hike. Still to
It's
this
supposed
day.
to be the best out there.
Yeah, it is. He's from a little small town of LaConner. It's like 5 hours from Spokane.
Oh, nice. I haven't heard of it, but yeah, it's probably somewhere central.
Yeah, it's towards Everett.
Okay, yeah.
So,
More the west side.
But that's it for me. I appreciate you coming on the show, Brady.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do anything you want to share with the audience on your way out?
Nothing. Just be on the lookout for November. I'm looking to fight here soon, and I'm looking to put on a show, make this run at this title, kind of get the ball rolling again. Put on some more, performance of the night bonuses, trying to excite the fans, get some things going.
Yeah, I look forward to following your career, man. You're welcome anytime, man. We'd love to talk to you again, whether after your fight or whenever that may be. But I can't wait.
I appreciate it. You guys got a good vibe. I enjoyed this. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's the Combat Lounge. We like to keep it mellow. We like to keep making it about the fighters, not try to do too much with it. And we've had genuine success with it because everybody feels relaxed. We vibe and it's good. So I thank you for being part of that experience. Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, I got you. Appreciate it again.
One last thing before we go. We are going to have a chance to speak with Mr. McKinney later on at some point. Have you guys crossed paths being from the same place?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we were homies. We actually we used to train at the same gym for a few years, and then he went to a different gym in town. Actually, he trains with Josh Reddinghouse at their gym now. But yeah, he's a homie. I love the dude. He's a savage. We trained back when he had his first shot on Contender Series and a little bit before that. And so, yeah, I love the dude, and we have good history, and I'm sure he's obviously doing great things. He's going to continue to do great things. He's a freak athlete. The man's a beast. It's crazy.
Yeah, one of my biggest things on him is, man, that his the way he recovers, from whether being hit or whether losing his balance, whatever. And it's like a rabbit or something. It's like, God, it's like, man.
Yeah, dude, he's probably one of the most athletic people I've ever met. He's just a freak athlete. He's so strong. He's fast. He's got good coordination, good balance, like you said. He's the truth for sure.
No doubt. Man. So what did you think about his finish? Because I've never seen anybody choke somebody out without leverage.
Yeah. That's what
that was insane. I was like, how the fuck did he do that? Like I'm looking at it. I was like, wait, the dude's tapping. Wait, what happened?
Dude, that's what I'm telling you. Like, he is strong. When I was like 18 and I first went to the gym with them, I went and grappled with him, and at the time, I'd done jiu-jitsu and I've been grappling for a while, and he was the first person that like legitimately subbed me. in a live grappling match in a long time. And I'm like, dude, and it was one of those squeezes. He got me in a head and arm triangle. And I felt safe. And the guy just squeezed so hard. And at the time, I was only 18, but like I felt pretty good in my grappling skills. But dude, he has a squeeze like no other. So it was a surprise. But that's why I look at those fights and I'm like, I'm not surprised because he is strong. He's like a skinny, dude, but dude, he has a squeeze for sure.
Yeah, I was there live when he knocked out Matt Frivola in 7 seconds.
Oh, you were there? That was a good fight.
Good, great fight. Wow,
oh, that's the way Coach draws up the 1-2, right?
It was one significant strike to 0 strikes. McKinney hit him with a right hand, and that out he went.
Dude, crazy.
But
crazy.
We'll let you get out of here, Brady. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
No, I appreciate you too. Yeah, tell Terrence I say what's up.
Oh, for sure.
Bet. Say less. We got you.
Yeah, man.
Said, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Are you finish up, guys? Give your last thoughts, and we'll get out of here.
I'm good.
Yo, last thoughts on this is beginning of mini. Want to thank our viewers for coming in. Want to thank our viewers for the question. Again, we want to thank Brady, man. He is sitting stewing. I pity the man who gets in the ring with them because this man is about to pop, and you're just gonna have to be an example of what's later on. Brady, we're gonna head out. In 3 years, we'll complete the sentence. In 3 years, I will be.
In 3 years, I'll be UFC champ.
I love that, bro. I love that. I love the confidence. I love it. I've always loved that.
Yeah, got to. Blink. I mean, if I'm not in the sport to be mediocre or just okay,
that's real.
Great.
That's real. I respect it. Said I plan to be at your title fight as long as it's in America or
Dude,
Vegas.
I'd be upset if you didn't show up. Damn, you got to now.
Got to. You called it. You called it. I'll be there.
He's gonna be in Vegas too. So yeah, we'll link up, man.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we'll go get some fried chicken or something like that.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Combat Lounge presented by Sideline Sports Network. I'm Phil. That's two-titled Tony, Cade, special guest Brady Bam Bam. And we are out of here. God bless and take care.
Now fires back. Oh, there's Fury with the right hand.